this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm your host for this evening. My name is Dr. Jose Davy, and before I say or do anything else, I would like to invite Reverend Philbert Lani to do prayer. Please stand for prayer.
The third epistle of John, verse 2, says, Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, just as it is well with your soul. And one of the fundamentals we can take away from that verse is that God does not only desire us to be spiritually well, but to be physically well also. And when we talk about well in our bodies, we're talking about well in our minds as well. Let us pray. O God, our loving Heavenly Father, we rejoice that you have created us as you have. You have given us abilities. We are complex beings in the way that our bodies are made up, with linkages in every aspect. You have provided that which is necessary for the sustenance of our bodies and our minds and our souls. You have provided even from the natural things of this earth, the plants, the trees, the earth, the sky, the sea, all that is necessary for us to remain healthy once we follow your lead. We bless your holy name, O God, for your love and your mercy and your providential care over each one of us. Forgive us, O God, for the ways that we have abused the things that you have given to us, either through greed, as we seek to enrich ourselves, or through stubbornness, as we do not follow that which you have asked us to follow, but we do our own thing, many times bringing injury to ourselves. Forgive us, God, for the ways in which we have robbed others from experiencing the joy of healthy living because of commercial dealings. And forgive us too for the ways in which we have not always heeded to the education provided to us. Father, as we come this evening, we thank you for the opportunity of this book launch. We thank you for that which we will learn from that which will be shared with us. We ask, O God, that you will stimulate us to do that which is right and to move our lives forward. For we believe that you are still in the healing business, and we pray that you will not only heal us, but you will enable us to remain well. So bless us, God. Bless Sister Joann Jack as she would have initiated this book launch, and all those who would have worked with her and are still working with her to make it a success. May all that we do and say here bring honor and glory to your name, for Jesus Christ's sake. Amen. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please remain standing while we have a little bit of the anthem, if you don't mind. Thank you. Please take your seats. Good evening once again, distinguished guests, partners, supporters, and friends. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this historic and culturally significant occasion, the official launch of food and plants as medicinal properties. So if you don't remember why you're here for a book launch. And those who didn't know why they were dragged here, now you know why you came. Yes, there are actually people like that. So you're here for the book launch. Today we gather not merely for the unveiling of a book, but for the revival of knowledge, because this is something that we have lost, and this is an opportunity that we have to put this thing down. They say if you want to be remembered, you have to do 3 things. Plant a tree, have a son, and write a book. And we know that the author has done all 3. I'm missing one. You want to guess which one it is? Oh, please. This book stands as witness, both witness and teacher, a bridge linking the traditional wisdom of our foreparents with the innovation of modern science, wellness, agriculture, and medicine. It offers us insight, both in the renewed prospect of botanicals and the treasures that we have lost somewhere along the way. We would like to congratulate and celebrate the visionary behind this masterpiece. And yes, I did prod and push her for many years for part 2. Her dedication, research, and commitment to education has empowered our community. It supports health practitioners and hopefully inspires some researcher, some little researcher among us to continue this work. I would like to say again, thank you, but today is not about me and me talking. So I am going to open my book on the agenda, and you're going to hear from who is very important, but not yet. Before we do that, we would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Maxwell Ince, the brother of the author. Put your hands together for him. You ain't that hungry. Come on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and youth as well. Well, I think most of what I was going to say was said by Dr. Davy, but I'll still continue. I'm wondering in this audience if there is anyone here who have or know about Antipa. Well, if they are, then most of them might be from my era as well. My era, I see some young folks put up their hands. Well, what happened with the Antipa is that while we were kids, during the long summer holidays, we ate all kind of food, especially the boys. We roam all over the place. Sweet spot for mangoes, old Montrose for jar plum, golden apples, anything you could think of as fruits, we had it. Of course, we didn't pay for it. So just before we returned to school, which would be in September, my mom would say, okay, we need a washout. So the Antipa was used. Well, that was no problem really, because the Antipa is a sweet thing. You enjoy drinking it. I mean, afterwards you're in pain with the pain when you have to go to the toilet. But it was easy to take. But then my mom said, the Antipa is not doing too good a job. It doesn't clean you out too good. So she made up a concoction using castor oil, the castor oil tree. She got an oil from it, and then she gave us. Well, that was really bad tasting, bitter. So, well, I had no problem. I drank it because the reward when you drink it is that you get a teaspoon of honey. you had to drink it standing in water. I know for us, we had a concrete zinc outside. So you stand in there, you drink the castor oil, and then you get your honey. Well, of my other siblings, that was a no-no. So then after I take my castor oil, it was my job to run them down, hold them, so my mom could give them the castor oil. So it was very difficult. Well, Dr. Davies let out the secret that it was my sister. I was kind of saying, we're going to tell you after that this was my sister. Well, she was the one who had the hardest time to catch, to hold, to take that medicine. And, well, my mom's technique was, I would catch them, hold their arms, she will hold their nose, and then put that down your throat. You had to swallow it because they can't breathe. So it's kind of surprising that she's the one who decided she's going to do all the research on these medicinal plants and stuff, because she's the one that really gave me a hard time to catch. Anyway, well, she is my sister. I am excited to share her inspiring journey. She's a remarkable individual and seasoned pharmacist who has spent over 40 years dedicated to health and wellness. She draws deep inspiration from our Kalinago and Garifuna heritage and the teaching of our mother. Her life's work revolves around researching the traditional medicinal uses of plants, especially in our island, blending ancestral knowledge with modern health practices to foster a holistic approach to well-being. She has compiled her extensive research into a valuable resource that highlights the nutritional and healing properties of raw vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. This compilation is not just a collection of information. It serves as a powerful call to action. It reminds us that nature offers essential solutions for maintaining our health and vitality. At the core of her philosophy is a profound belief that nature holds the key to better health. But what does this mean? For her, good health is more than just a lack of illness. It is a multifaceted journey that includes several vital components, which includes regular physical activity, nourishing diets, effective stress management, and importantly, maintaining strong social connections. She normally recommends that you must try to get an adequate rest as well. However, I don't think that she took that advice of her own seriously as regards this. I say this because we live very close to her. So every time we drive past, we'll look up to see if she's in. And as we drive past, my wife would say, "Your sister gone again," because she's always on the road. Possibly the rest that she refers to is that most times when I visit her, she'll be lying in the couch with a TV watching her. Currently, she serves as the chairman of the SVG Pharmacy Council. In this role, she plays an integral part in shaping health policies that encourage the use of natural remedies and promote proactive health management within our communities. Additionally, she is a dedicated member of both the SVG Pharmaceutical Association, Inc. and the SVG Diabetes and Hypertension Association, both of which reflect her commitment to improving health outcomes and advocating for healthier lifestyles. Beyond her professional endeavors, she has other passions that truly brings her joy. For instance, you might find her in her kitchen garden, nurturing the plants that produce fresh ingredients for her meals. Cooking with this produce is not just a hobby for her. It's a celebration of her heritage and a testament to her belief in the healing powers of nature. So what can we take away from her journey? It's a reminder that health is not merely the absence of disease, but a vibrant state of well-being. We are encouraged to reconnect with nature and embrace the wisdom and practices that have been handed down through generations. As we move forward, let us be inspired by her dedication to education, advocacy, and lifestyle choices. Together, we can promote awareness of herbal remedies and the incredible benefits of a plant-based diet. Thank you for your time, and let's commit ourselves to a balanced lifestyle that honors the wisdom of nature. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Maxie. I could say Maxie. Yes, that's one secret we didn't tell anybody. Yes, we're actually cousins. Don't ask me to what nth power, but we are. And at this point, we are going to hear from our established and accomplished author. So put your hands together and give a stand innovation for Mrs. Joann Jack.
Okay, good night once more. In 2019, the first edition, the use of folkloric medicines in Urimi, that is in SPG, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I launched a book, this book. And this edition now is upgraded to the second edition. As you can see, food and medicinal properties of plants in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I believe everybody read that already. This basically involves healing through nature, showing the relationship between the power of plants and health, and exploring the intersection of traditional wisdom, science, and modern health practices, and highlighting some plants as food and medicine used on a day-to-day basis by this author. The launch of this second edition marks a significant step in promoting awareness about health and the vital role of plant medicine. This event celebrates the continuation of a journey to reconnect people with natural healing, nutrition, and the wisdom embedded in our local flora. It aims to inspire individuals to take charge of their health through knowledge and lifestyle changes rooted in tradition and science. The Bible reminds us in 1 Corinthians 6, that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, emphasizing the sacredness of our physical being. Psalms 139:14 declare, "We are fearfully and wonderfully made," highlighting the intricate design of the human body. So scientifically, the body is capable of constantly rebuilding and restoring itself and maintaining health through a dynamic instant-to-instant process. Excellent. We all know that the human body is a living system. The human body is composed of approximately 100 trillion living cells. The hair and nails are living, but require regular trimming due to growth. The skin, the bones, the blood, immune system, muscle, heart, and organs are all living tissues. Many blood cells replace themselves every day, showcasing the body's ability to renew itself. The skin's outer layer is regularly replaced, and bone structure remodels about 10% annually. Our body sends subtle signals when health issues arise, encouraging us to listen and respond. The challenges to health in modern life. Modern lifestyle, especially the rise of fast food, have undermined traditional health practices in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and beyond. Diseases like diabetes not only affect well-being, but also double health expenses for individuals. Preventative medicine is crucial to counteract health challenges and reduce the burden of chronic illnesses. So we need effort, commitment, and lifestyle changes that are very necessary to address modern health challenges. Nature's role in maintaining good health. Humans are unique. From the animal kingdom, we're moving away from consuming 100% natural raw foods, unlike other animals. Our bodies are designed to thrive on plant-based diets such as raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, which provides vital organic elements and medicinal benefits. Embracing nature's offering supports balance, healing, and longevity by nourishing the body with living foods that sustain and protect health. Since 1765, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a proud history of plant protection through the botanical gardens, which was once a Caribbean hub for valuable plant exchange under our colonial masters. This legacy underscores the importance of preserving plant knowledge and collections, such as herbariums, which are systematic archives of dry plant specimens essential for research and education. These efforts honors our ancestors' wisdom and support engaging health and environmental stewardship. Now we have two pictures there. One, the plant Ebius papyrus, which was used for medicine, sails, cloth, rope, mats, sandals, basket, was mainly used in the Egyptian times as a paper, to make paper. So I'm showing you a documentation below of a papyrus scroll, which shows the description of medicinal cannabis, marijuana, used for sore eyes. They also had a prescription for information to be applied topically. You notice how long ago that was, right? Where they were using those stuff. Now, on these papyrus scrolls were 850 medicines as early as 3000 BC. And they included things like the holy basil, which was the elixir of life. It was the queen of the herbs. And you know they say elixir of life, longevity, and the others. We have them there, so I'll go through them. Now, the personal journey and inspiration. My childhood was deeply influenced by traditional medical plants used by my mother to treat ailments like menstrual pain, toothaches, etc. These early experiences sparked a passion for botany and pharmacy, culminating in a career as a pharmacist. Family remedies such as cloves for memory and toothaches and candlebush for postpartum care illustrates the powerful connection between culture, nature, and healing. And I'll give you a few of the concoctions that my mother prepared. I have to take my time. I have to write them down so I could remember them. So I benefited on many occasions from the medical plans our mother used to treat our siblings and also my siblings, myself and others for various illnesses, and I'm still benefiting. For example, seed on the leaf for menstrual pain, and cloves in the tooth for toothache, and trigeminal neuralgia, which is a trifacial neuralgia and is a long-term pain disorder that affects the trigeminal nerve responsible for sensation in the face and the motor functions, such as biting and chewing. And I remember this vividly. It was real pain. I thought it would never end, but it did. My mother used everything you could think of, whether it's icy hot, icy cold, whatever balm, she just used whatever. No painkillers, but it went after a time. One of my siblings had an issue of bronchitis, so my mother made a concoction. I tell you about all the concoctions of wild onion, black wine, and blackfish oil. She administered the same to him by adjusting the dosage, as she said that she only had the recipe for an adult. My brother began to vomit slimy stuff profusely, which caused her to panic. She then made a decision to send him to the casualty, which was called the emergency department. She told him not to say anything of what he took, and was relieved when he said that he was feeling a little better and the vomiting had subsided. She gave him some sugar water to drink. You know how that is. You're vomiting plenty, and we know we put back in the salt, right? Well, I assume she knew. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So there was another concoction which she used, which was involved the caterpillar. The chef worm, they call it. I don't know if any of you know of it. On the bell apple vine. But I have not seen bell apple since that time, so I'm not certain if bell apple is no longer in St. Vincent. It was used in conjunction with and here what she used it with, in conjunction with a live lizard, which she sent my brother to Maxie to catch. And strong worm. Plus another something, I don't know what it, I just can't recall. Right, the next one she did, before a major school examination, 3 cloves were inserted in the middle of my hair, and my brothers were given one to keep under their tongues, or placed in the pocket close to the skin. I thought it was merely a superstitious belief, but after I got involved in the study of plants medicinally, I sort of understand what was the purpose. You know why? Cloves have a local anesthetic effect, and therefore useful for numbing toothaches, and also stimulate both the mind, improving memory, and body as a whole. So you see what she was trying to do, with the key constituents being found in the volatile oil. Another strange practice was the middle part of my hair. That one I never understood. Tied tightly with blades of scythe for tonsillitis. And the doctor said I had to take it out. And she insists, no, you're not taking it out. And she continued with her oversight. And truly, I have my tonsils. My experience started with a love for the sciences, and therefore motivated me to study botany to enable me to make my own medicines. So in Form 1X of the Girls' High School, I aspired to be a dispenser, as was called in those days. I became a pharmacist in 1982. The last bush medicine that my mother gave me was a rum bottle filled with a liquid extract from the joint bush, or candle bush. She gave me for dry cough too as a child. Well, she said, this is to clean out the womb. She insisted that I took it for 9 days. And after birth of my only son, Darren, in 1987. So, I mean, I've been a pharmacist now. What kind of foolishness mommy bringing? So I put the bottle in the fridge, took half a cup for one morning, and it stayed in the fridge for some time until I finally threw it away. So when she asked me if I took the bush, I told her, yes, mommy, I did. because I took one cup. On reflection, maybe if I had taken the medicine, I would have made more than one child. Mommy, may you rest in peace. So the cultural connection, I didn't think I finished with that. Go back on one. The use of the traditional medicinal plants highlights the cultural significance of natural healing practices. So, 45 years ago, when I entered the pharmacy department, Mr. Alexander, now deceased, introduced me to a historical cup. You see it there? And this cup, you see, was the bitter cup. It's from the plant Picrania excelsa, which is the name I had in my first edition, but officially it's really Picrasmo excelsa. And the common name is Quassia, bitter wood, bitter ash, or Jamaican Quassia. It has something to do with a slave named Quassia, but I don't know all details. Yeah. So we have another one that is similar, which is Quassia amaro. This is the Suriname Quassia, same family, but two distinct plant species, and used as herbal medicine, reducing fever, improving digestion, etc. And nowadays, as commercial food flavoring and insecticides. Now, this cup I'm telling you about, I never really quite understand how they used it in those days. But you had to soak, you had to put the water in it and stay it overnight, and then you drank it. But what was strange is that Alexander told me that you had to give the person it there. So it was like a dose right there. So I don't know how to work it out, but it's really bitter. So I assume that maybe persons would not have drank it when they carried it home. So maybe that was the reason. That's all I could really say about it. Okay? When I also entered the pharmacy, when I also entered the pharmacy, they had some black and red capsules. So I asked again, why we have those empty capsules? I was told, and I think Mr. Danny Games also told me what they were. So they used to fill these with seed on the leaf, powder it with kudzu root. You understand where I'm coming from? Plus another item, but I can't remember that item. Then they had another one, chenopodium. It was an extract from the chenopodium plant. And it was really taken for worms, and they called it dead shot. And also, I think how much pharmacists remember that name. Right, anyway, yeah, it was called the dead shot, and why it used to also be given singly. You have to take the dose right there. Yeah, they didn't know it too. Okay. So my personal journey and inspiration continue, and these personal experiences and family tradition inspired the creation of this book. Now the vision and goals. This edition aims to deepen personal awareness of one's body and health, encourages recognition of physical changes, and the courage to adopt healthier lifestyles. This stresses the importance of quality, efficacy, and safety in the use of medicinal plants, and this advocates for good agriculture and collection and storage practices. The correct use should follow the criteria of good quality, efficacy, and safety, including good agricultural collection and storage practices, as I said before, to protect citizens' health. And we need to promote healthier lifestyles. So we need to measure and watch your weight, limit unhealthy foods, and eat healthy meals. Exercise regularly. Reduce sitting for long periods, drink water, and stay hydrated. Get enough good sleep, go easy on alcohol, and stay sober, and find ways to manage your emotions. The goal is really to maintain good health. And we all know health is a state of mind and body. So it is time to take your health in your own hand by carefully self-monitoring, which is the only way to make sure that you stay healthy. Remember that good health is everyone's major source of wealth. So we need to monitor. You know, it's monitoring your body needs constant effort, commitment, and some work. It's 24/7 we're talking about. So 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. You know, the constant juggling to restore and rebuilding And we use the 4 pillars of wellness, widely considered by experts as exercise, good nutrition, relaxation, sleep, and good health. Gratitude. Heartfelt thanks I extend it to Almighty God for inspiration. Is He keeping me every day? Thanks to the editors of the first edition for the invaluable contribution. Special recognition to Dr. Joseph Davey and Max Collins for the roles in editing and publishing this edition on Amazon. You know, this journey to this publication was marked by personal loss and perseverance. Yeah, by my loving husband, Tyrone Jack, and a good friend, Fiona Denny Pierre. May the souls rest in peace. So this work reflects our commitment to sharing knowledge and promoting health. Now readers are encouraged to embrace natural health by reconnecting with their bodies and the healing power of plants. Learning from traditional medicines and adopting a lifestyle aligned with nature can foster harmony, longevity, and well-being. So this book invites everyone to become active participants in their health journey, honoring the legacy of our ancestors and the gifts of the land. I leave with you, the dividing line between foods and medicine may not always be clear, so we therefore need to concentrate on maintaining good health. Thank you.
That's all you can do? That's a little better. And we know how when you go to school and they teach you how to teach, which is called pedology, by now you need a little change in the audition. So at this point, we're going to have a little music. So if you feel like getting in the Christmas spirit, Jonathan, you ready? Welcome to the podium, to the stage, Mr. Jonathan Compton. Come on, encourage our young people. Thank you very much, Jonathan. I thought you were going to give us another one, but we will take it when we eat in the food. Yeah? That's okay? Yeah. So at this point, I'm going to introduce to you our keynote speaker, and no, he's not going to be long. I'm going to read his bio just the way he gave it to me, because he became a pharmacist before he went to school. Y'all ain't paying attention? Yeah. Mr. Levi Walker is a pharmacist. He first joined the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and the Environment in 1981. He spent his entire career as a public servant, that's a whole 43 years, and he retired last year, 2024. His last 10 years of service were served in the capacity of chief pharmacist. So I call him chief, but we have another chief in the house tonight. Wave your hand, chief. We have one immediate past chief pharmacist, and we have the present chief pharmacist. Wave your hand so the people can know you now, Ms. O'Garo. She's very shy. Anyway, he's a member of several administrative and technical committees. He still functions as the registrar of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Pharmacy Council. Mr. Walker received his education at the St. Vincent Boys Grammar School, the Barbados Community College, the University of Technology Jamaica, and the University of Liverpool, United Kingdom. He's also an entrepreneur, and I just asked to sit at his feet, and he agreed. And he, since his retirement, has been focusing on managing his businesses. Apart from work, he spends time socializing, playing music, and participating in his church's programs. Welcome to the stage. So he's going to give us a little talk, and he's going to, a little book review, because he read the book. So he's going to give you a little synopsis, not too much, because you have to buy the book before you leave. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Walker.
Thank you so much, Dr. Davy. And you know, I really wasn't sure that I was the right person to do this. I don't know if the organizers got mixed up with the names. However, whoever that person was supposed to be, I'm filling in for that person. But it's a pleasure, and just want to say as well that Dr. Davy mentioned that I am the immediate past chief pharmacist, but keep in mind that Mrs. Jack was my supervisor, also as the chief pharmacist. So was her husband. So I actually basically followed in the feet of the Jacks, and here I am today. They retired, and following in their footsteps, I am now retired as well, growing old gracefully, and enjoying life. Now, the caption for my short discourse, and I will try to speak as fast as I can while, allowing you to understand so that I don't take too much of your time. I notice there are some goodies on the other side, and I'm craving for some of those myself. Sorry to be distracting, but I didn't have any lunch today. But let me start by asking you a question. Just two persons, one male, one female. If you were to be a plant, which plant would you like to be? Just push one finger up. Well, aloe, why? It do what? It feels good? I never knew that aloe felt good. Oh, it heals. I apologize. Yeah. Okay. Are you a medical doctor? Something close to that, right? Computer doctor. Very well. A female now, sister? Marigold cactus? No, when you say Mary, I thought you were going to say marijuana. So it's marigold cactus, and a reason why? Thank you so much. And, when I thought of asking this question, I said to myself, if I was asked, I would say I would like to be the guru. For much the same reason, that you have thorns and, avoid people climbing on your back and riding you, etc. But, we all have our different thoughts. So preserving our plant heritage in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I embrace this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to stand before you not just as a Vincentian, not only as a scientist or a practitioner in the health sciences, but as a steward. I said as a steward, one of many of a precious inheritance. Across our Emerald Islands, we walk on soil that has never and will never be ordinary. Ours in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is volcanic, it's fertile, and I dare say that it is sacred soil, soil that is nourished by indigenous hands, by African resilience, by generations of Caribbean innovation. And for every challenge that we have faced as a people, I say that for every challenge, or rather for almost every challenge that we have faced as a people, whether it be illnesses or famine, childbirth, storms, or even grief, for all of these challenges, there was a plan that our ancestors turned to. Our plant heritage is not folklore. It is not nostalgia. It is not yesterday's way of life. Rather, our plant heritage is a living library. It is a pharmaceutical treasury. It is an economic opportunity, and it's also a cultural identity marker that belongs not only in our past, but it's also actively anchoring our present and will definitely help to shape our future. And so I would like to just speak briefly on 4 or 5 points, actually 5 points. Number one, the legacy that we inherited. Long before the first medical school, long before there were antibiotics, long before there were modern laboratories and the microscopes, there was the knowledge of plants. The knowledge of plants was our first healthcare system. And Mrs. Jack, our author for this evening, she establishes the authenticity of our herbal medicine by briefly tracing its use from early ancient times. And she mentioned use of herbs from as early as 5000 BC. Back then, when the use of medicinal plants was more of a trial and error method, to the present day, to our modern era, where herbal use is now heavily influenced by research and also by commercialism. Keep in mind that the Carninago used cassava not only as food, but as a poultice. It was used as an antiseptic. Cassava was used as a protector of energy. The Garifuna also were involved in herbal practices. They used refined fever grass, they used white sage, they used black sage and strong back into strategies for survival. I'm quite sure I'm mentioning herbs and plants that you're very familiar with. Then the enslaved Africans brought seeds hidden in their hair. There was tamarind, there was sorrel, the okra seeds, simple plants that became symbols of freedom, plants that became symbols of resistance, plants that became symbols of identity. Ladies and gentlemen, I say to you that our grandparents, they were actually also actively involved in herbal use. They used soursop for sleep. They used aloe for burns. They used turmeric and ginger for inflammation. Guinea hen weed for immune system. Wonder of the world for pain. And neem for skin and purifying spaces. I say that when we study botany in the Caribbean, we are not studying plants. Rather, we are studying memory. But I think that something is wrong. Something is very wrong. And you may ask why. The chain of knowledge is shrinking and growing thin. Where there were once 10 elders who knew the forest, now there might be one or maybe two. Once where children boiled bush tea, now many actually do not even know the names of the leaves growing outside their own back doors. I believe that if we do not act intentionally, if we do not act aggressively, if we don't act collectively, our plant heritage could become a museum exhibit instead of a living ecosystem. Our esteemed author, established her credentials quite early in her publication as a pharmacist with a background in botany and complementary medicine. Importantly, she mentioned that she was a subject where she didn't use these words, but she was a subject of communal practice and memorization. Now, communal practice and memorization is a term used to describe a method of teaching. And in the Bible, most of us might have read where when God said to the Israelites, I would write these words on your heart. So it was a process where people were taught, they memorized information, and then that information was taught or spoken to the younger generation, and it continues so that the essence and information was never lost. And Mrs. Jack benefited from communal practice and memorization from her dear mother. Her active engagement in the practice of home gardening, combined with her training, her theory, force and information, experience, and professional practice, more than qualifies Mrs. Jack to present to us this compilation. I see her now as a mentor, and she is an exception rather than the rule. I was speaking a bit about legacy. Now, let me touch on the global race for natural medicine. And this is my second point. While we debate its relevance, the world has already decided on it. Today, the global herbal medicine industry surpasses US $450 billion. It is projected to pass the US $1 trillion within the next decades. Countries with fewer plants than St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or rather countries with fewer plant species than St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they are building biotech labs. They are exporting teas, they are exporting powders, they are producing nutraceuticals. They are manufacturing skincare products and tonics and health retreats they are organizing. And here's the crucial and critical truth. The world is not only buying products, the world is buying stories. The world is paying for origins. The world is buying authenticity, and the world is paying for heritage. Now, consider Jamaica. Jamaica successfully positioned pimento, moringa, ganja. Barbados was successful in positioning aloe. Fiji positioned kava. Anyone who knows what kava is? Okay, that's your homework. Grenada positioned nutmeg. So now we come to the vital question. What will St. Vincent and the Grenadines position? Recently, we established a medicinal cannabis industry, but that is not unique to St. Vincent. So what will it be? Will it be our root? Will it be turmeric? How about cocoa? Have we considered maybe volcanic ash? Maybe cinnamon leaf, bay leaf oil? How about breadfruit? guava leaf, clove, basil, golden apple, soursop, castor oil, and neem. Can St. Vincent and the Grenadines successfully position any or some of these items? Ladies and gentlemen, I put it to you that we in SVG, we are sitting on resources that others wish they possess. We are standing on soil the cosmetic industry covets. We are walking past plants that the pharmaceutical industry is studying. We in SVG, we are custodians of a biological inheritance valued by the world, but sadly, grossly undervalued by us. And this brings me to my third point, the risk of losing more than plants. I say that if we lose our plant heritage, we lose more than medicine. If we lose our plant heritage, we lose economy. Because what's at stake are our sustainable industries, our export potential, and our product development. If we lose our plant heritage, we lose food security. This has to do with our climate realities that demand self-reliance. If we lose our plant heritage, we lose cultural identity. Plants are language, each one named through history and pain. It didn't just come so. If we lose our plant heritage, we lose our biodiversity. Because you see, once a species disappears, it does not return, ever. If we lose our plant heritage, we lose our scientific sovereignty, and this includes data, it includes intellectual property, it includes patents, and all of these taken by others. You know, there is a danger that we rarely discuss, and that is the extraction of knowledge without the protection of ownership. Foreign companies can patent molecules from plants sourced right from our mountains. And when they do that, we get nothing. And this is a real danger. It's a real danger that many of us are seemingly oblivious to. Now imagine the idea that someone owning the rights to your grandma's tea. I read in Mrs. Jack's publication, the second edition, she listed, after discussing cocoa, she listed a simple recipe for preparing cocoa tea. It's a recipe for cocoa tea using chocolate that is derived from our local cocoa. Now, can you imagine a foreign entity patenting a product using that recipe? No, I mean, that may be a far-fetched idea, but you get the message, you know? We cannot simply preserve plants. We must preserve the rights that are attached to them. My fourth point. My fourth point is that it matters. That now matters. I'm putting it to you as distinguished people that now matters. And the natural question is, why does now matter? Now matters because we live in the era of climate change, because we live in the era of soil erosion. Now matters because hurricanes of unprecedented strength continually every year threaten us. Now matters because there is global supply chain disruption. All of these we have little or no control about. Now matters because we have a very an enormous problem called antibiotic resistance that we seem not to be able to control or find a solution to. Now matters because non-communicable diseases exist that medicines alone cannot solve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all of these occurrences speak to the fragility of our environment and more specifically to our ecosystem. And this is something that we must understand and we must appreciate if we are to survive. Our ancestors, they survived because they understood the land. Now, our future may depend on remembering that SVG cannot only be a consumer of foreign wellness trends. We must be a producer of solutions rooted in who we are. Sustainable plant preservation is a health strategy. It's a disaster strategy. It's an economic strategy, and it's a national branding strategy. Now, towards the end of Mrs. Jack's book, she made two clarion calls in my interpretation. First, she makes a call for us to respect and to embrace plant-based diets. Of course, this followed her earlier assertion that plants are a fundamental part, and I'm quoting her now, plants are a fundamental part of human sustenance and well-being. Thus, the sustaining and healing wonders of plants should not be ignored. The second call that I picked up is that she's calling for action to be taken to save and to preserve endangered species of plants in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I said St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was happy to notice that in one of the images that was illustrated was one that was purportedly, not purportedly, that one that was taken in Union Island. All right. I say that in relation to Mrs. Jack's calls, this is directly related to our widespread pollution, our environmental changes, destruction of our vital and fragile resources, and the need to maintain sustainable ecosystem. And my last point, subtitled The Vision, a National Agenda for Plant Heritage Preservation. And now I ask the rhetoric but poignant question: what does leadership look like in this space? And I say that leadership is not only a sentiment, but it looks like action. And I am happy to propose a 5-pillar national vision. The first pillar, national plant heritage documentation. Establish a national plant heritage documentation. I think that we need to establish a digital and physical repository that will document plants, their names, the local name, the scientific name. It will document the uses of these plants: culinary use, medicinal use, industrial use, whatever cultural stories are attached to them, the geographic mapping, and research finding. No, I'm not talking about a book. This is a living database and should be seen as such. This publication by Mrs. Jack presents an excellent launching pad, and would have established, establishing a national plant heritage would establish a legacy platform for schools, universities, tourists, and the diaspora. Now, the second proposal is to look at community seed banks and living pharmacies. I think that every community, every constituency, every school, every church could preserve seeds and cutlings. Living pharmacies can be established at community centers, on school grounds, on the land of willing elders. And children should grow up touching heritage, not only reading about it. Number 3, look at research, certification, and quality standards. Traditional knowledge, when combined with modern science, this equals credibility. And this includes safety profiles, dosage understanding, proper labeling, intellectual property protection, and the necessary approval pathways. 4th pillar, and I'm coming to a close quickly. The 4th pillar, product development and wellness tourism. Now imagine these, SVG botanical teas, SVG nutraceuticals. Imagine SVG herbal tinctures. Imagine SVG ash cosmetic line. Think about SVG digestive bitters. How about SVG immune support blends? And now imagine visitors coming to SVG not only for the sunshine and the beach and the beauty, but also for healing. Envision retreats, plant tours, envision farm-to-farm escapes. Just envision. And my final and fifth and final pillar, education, which should embrace stages from kindergarten to university. Now, this is critical because cultural survival must be taught intentionally. If a child cannot recognize a neem tree, but can name every smartphone model, then something is wrong, and our priorities needs to be revisited. Now, my friends, I am issuing a call for stewardship. We are not fighting here to preserve plants. We are fighting to preserve memory. We are fighting to preserve identity, autonomy, and possibility. When you plant a moringa tree, you plant hope. When we protect our cocoa, we protect an economy. When we teach a child about fever grass, we transform resilience. And I say, when we refuse to let our plant knowledge fade, when we refuse to let our plant knowledge fade, we declare to the world that we are not just borrowing this land, but we are responsible for our land. The future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not only in conferences and policies and reports. Rather, the future of SVG is in the soil and is waiting for us to respectfully decide. Today, I ask of you, let us plant intentionally. Let us document boldly. Let us innovate fearlessly. Let us protect aggressively. Now, what I'm proposing is not an environmental movement. This is not a nostalgic movement. Rather, it is a sovereign movement. Because a nation that preserves its seeds preserves its future. So, ladies, gentlemen, guardians of heritage, I say, this is time. This is a generation, and this is the mandate. And so I urge you, let us preserve the plant legacy and trust it to us, not as a relic, but as a revolution. Thank you.
Nobody else has seen it besides myself, Maxie, and the author. You are ready to see the book? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring the official program to a close. And to help us with that, we have Mrs. Your name again? I know your name now. Okay. We have K. Martin Jack. Mrs. K. Martin Jack. She's also a cousin. I have any more cousins in this room?
Just waiting for the photo moment. Okay. Reverend Philbert Delaney, members of the pharmaceutical fraternity, members of the Methodist Church, I think it's her class members who may be out here tonight, invited guests, family and friends, good night. On behalf of the organizing committee, and indeed all of us gathered here today or tonight, I'm honored to deliver the vote of thanks at this launch of food and medicinal properties of plants by my sister-in-law, Joann Ince Jack. Appreciation must be extended to Reverend Philbert Delaney for invoking God's presence in tonight's proceedings. And he did, as per usual, as I would hear him on Sunday morning, continued in that vein, so thank you very much, Rev. Thanks also must be expressed to Maxie for taking us down memory lane with those antipa and other medicines that would have been given, and also giving us some background on Joann's journey, where she is, and when it comes to her research about plants and medicinal properties. Heartfelt appreciation must be expressed to the author, Mrs. Joann Ince Jack, whose dedication, scholarship, and passion for our natural heritage have given us the important and timely publication. This book is more than a collection of knowledge. It is a gift to our communities, our health, and our future. Thank you for your vision, your perseverance, your commitment to preserving and sharing the wisdom of our plants. To our speaker, Mr. Leroy Walker, thank you for your insightful remarks and for highlighting the significance of this work. Your reflections deepened our understanding of the value this book brings to households, students, researchers, and practitioners alike. Thank you also for giving us the opportunity to reflect on the wide array of resources we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines possess, and the need for us as a people to be more proactive in making them work for us. Gratitude goes out to Jonathan for his brave and melodious performance on the violin, reminding us of the goodness and faithfulness of God. To our distinguished guests, members of the academic, cultural, and health communities, and to everyone who made the effort to be here this evening, thank you for your presence and your support. Your participation affirms the importance of knowledge rooted in our environment and traditions. A sincere thank you goes to the technical and support teams and everyone who worked behind the scenes, you know who you are, to make this launch both smooth and memorable. Your attention to detail is seen and appreciated. You notice how they all dangle up there? To the family and friends of Mrs. Ince Jack, thank you for your encouragement and for standing with her on this journey. To the chairperson, Dr. Jose Davy, for taking us through tonight's launch seamlessly. We thank you. Finally, to all of you who joined us today, thank you for celebrating another milestone. May this book inspire us to look more closely at the treasures growing all around us and to continue valuing the healing and nurturing powers of our natural world. Thank you very much.
And someone has to thank you, Mrs. K. Matcha Jack, and that's me. And I do thank everyone for coming, and this is now your opportunity to taste herbal teas, to enjoy local good food, you know? And I know Mr. Walker is very tempted by it, so now his temptations can end on the way down. And of course, we have book signing. After you've paid for the book, you get it signed. And that will be on the right side. So my left is food and my right book signing. So thank you very much, and it was a pleasure having you. You're a very good audience. Enjoy the evening. Herbs here are all from the backyard. This is Ince Jack. All of these herbs and plants, they're from her backyard.